I mean, the thing is, at this stage, my go-to is always and might always ever be The Last Jedi. And I'm sorry, I know it's got this insane reputation that you can't even have a conversation about the stuff that it did wrong, because there's so many reactionary, takes out there as to, oh god, it's because Rey's the stuff with Rey, or they didn't do enough with Luke, and he should have took down the AT-ATs and whatever. It's not that. It's not that it should have been this like big old fan wish fulfillment thing. It's just that what is in there doesn't subvert expectations in a way that's remotely satisfying, and the whole feel of the script and the way that it's directed and everything, the whole tone of it, just has this utter disdain for the fact that it's the second installment in what should be the revived, the renewed, the vigor of the new trilogy kind of thing. And I like the stones on Mr. Johnson. I like the idea. I would love The Last Jedi if it was a siphoned off separate thing. The idea of a Jedi losing faith and struggling with like the Jedi Order and what are we really doing and all that kind of stuff. Trying to train someone and realizing that they might be an evil, an evil Sith or whatever, and potentially murdering them in their sleep. All that is fascinating, but it just doesn't belong where it is in the canon in terms of the stuff that was set up from The Force Awakens. And you can get so lost in the behind the scenes stuff too, in terms of everything that J.J. Abrams set up, and he had all these potential scripts written out for episode 8 and 9 in framework form or whatever, and Rian Johnson was just given carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, and like props to the guy, he totally did. But it feels so incongruous, it just doesn't belong. And then you have all the other stuff that you can sort of say, like, it doesn't feel right for Luke Skywalker just, wanting to kill a kid in his sleep when he turned the biggest space Nazi in the galaxy and found a bit of good in Mr. Vader, but he immediately wants to slaughter Kylo Ren. And so little things like that get in the way. But yeah, from the opening, throw the lightsaber over the shoulder, to every horrific joke that was in there, to the fact they don't go anywhere with Rey and Kylo eventually teaming up, which is the best bit in the whole film. They just reset it and Kylo gets super evil and Rey goes off to be the hero again, and we just reset everything. Its core message is that nothing matters at all and everything is cyclical, and it's just the most deflating, I hate it. It's very fiber, I hate it.
So one of my favourite genres of movie is the big banter action film, and in the past few decades I don't think there have been many finer examples of that than Taken, which if you've never seen is a lovely film about a lovely man played by Liam Neeson, who's a slightly less than lovely man, named Tommy Taken. Now in this film his daughter does indeed get taken. Anyway, all kinds of shenanigans ensue. Holly Valance is in it for some reason. A guy jumps off a bridge and then gets squished by a bus. It's great. So the sequel comes out a short while later, Taken 2. And when it's coming out, me and my friend Mark, we're big fans of this film. We're getting really ready to see. We're getting fired up for Taken 2. We christened the day Taken Tuesday. It was going to be amazing, right? We went into the cinema, and when we went in, we expected a lot of things. We did not expect to leave that cinema coated in a hurricane of piss. What they did was they took all the charm and all the banter that made Taken so special, and they sucked it right out with this PG watered down sack of rubbish. So, a few examples of this film's terribleness. At one point, so in this film, Tommy Taken and his wife, Tammy Taken, they get taken this time, and it's up to Tallulah Taken, who was taken in the first film, a lot of Takens, to find them. So at one point she does this by just lobbing grenades off a bunch of rooftops in Istanbul, and he's trying to follow the sound down his phone. The police, they don't care, that's fine. Some foreigners are throwing grenades around, it's okay, these crazy Irish Americans, no problem, right? Another example, at one point they drive this car, all these army guys outside the Turkish embassy shooting at them, throwing grenades, all this stuff, they get through the gate. Yeah, just go, that's fine, well done mate, you got in, we're just gonna walk away and climb up the stairs and probably have a wank. It was terrible. And to top it all off, in this scene, Tallulah Taken, the wife, at one point when she's been taken, she gets hung, she gets stabbed, she gets almost raped, horrific experience. 2 weeks later, after the whole thing's done, she's just hanging out in Los Angeles, drinking soy lattes and eating cakes. It's terrible, and I hope it dies.
Did you see Taken 3?
No, I did not. Out of pure simmering rage for Taken 2, I did not see Freakin'. Yeah. Good.
Well, it's hard to even describe it as a Hollywood movie because it went straight to video on demand, at least over here, and that's Jeepers Creepers 3. I know, right, Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 are not exactly cinematic classics, but to me they were. They were some of the films that really got me into horror in the first place. The first one absolutely scared the pants off me. The bit where he bites the dude's tongue out of his face, that just like genuinely frightened me for life. And then the second one I watched over and over again. It had a really cool premise about a bunch of people trapped in a bus, and Ian Creeper just sort of comes down and tries to kill them all. Probably, I don't know. I don't think he has a name, but he's not called Jeepers Creepers, is he? He's called something. Anyway, so that film ends on a kind of cliffhanger. It's 23 years in the future because he only comes out, I think it's for every 23 years to eat and replenish his body. And that ends with him sort of coming back to life, and you've got sort of these guys ready to take him down once and for all. So I was looking forward to that sequel for years. It was originally supposed to come out in like 2008, then it kept getting pushed back, and was it going to happen? Was it not going to happen? Anyway, it ended up coming out last year, well overdue. And it wasn't a sequel at all. It was sort of set between the first film and the second film. And it sort of filled in blanks that didn't need filling in. So either way, by that point, 15 years on or wherever it was, my expectations weren't high, and I was still completely disappointed by this film. It was just a total trash from beginning to end. It fills in a story that doesn't need filling in. We don't even know what happened in those days between the first and second movie. And then, in the original film, it's practically a story about Jeepers Creepers' truck, right? Because in the first one, he drives this old, knocked up truck. And it's supposed to be scary, but now it's sort of like a saw trap, and it's got a lot of things in the back that kill you, and it's got a mind of its own. It shoots the gadgets out. It's sort of like the Batmobile, but for this. Brilliant? No, it sounds like it should be brilliant, but the creeper does nothing. He just sort of drives it, and then he just puts people in the back. And it's just, why do I need a story about this dude's truck? It's not the biggest draw. I don't need it.
You're making me want to watch this.
It's bad. It's not good.
Sounds great, mate.
And you come for the creeper, obviously. He's a creepy dude, and he's played by the same guy. But this time they sort of shoot him in the day, so he's just kind of there. There's nothing scary about him. He's all brightly lit, and he looks old as well. Like he looks sort of run. He is, but he's supposed to be eternal. And he looks really sort of kind of run down. He's not spooky. He looks like you're creepy. It's not. It's really bad. It's a terrible. Jeepers Creepers is an absolute state. It's an absolute state. It's really bad.
You're an absolute state.
I'm not, and I can't believe I paid my £5 to rent this film. It was a year ago. I feel sick. I feel really sick.
So, right, Jurassic Park as a franchise is an abusive franchise. It's like being in an abusive relationship. First one was really good. That was the early days of the relationship. We got sort of...
You made someone walk out.
I'm upset.
It's all right.
He's very upset.
It's fine.
That was the honeymoon period. And then the second one was not very good and had Vince Vaughn in. And then the third one had a talking raptor. And by then, I should have known, really. Yeah. But then Jurassic World had Chris Pratt, and I got a little bit excited, but I didn't expect it to be any good. I expected it to just be the same as the third one, to be pretty idiotic, not very well made, but fundamentally badly written, which is what the other ones had always been. And then it was really, really good. A lot of people don't agree with that, like yourself.
Really good.
It's really good. It made, I don't want to use box office hauls as some kind of indication of goodness.
But you will.
But it made billions. 1 billion, to be precise. But it's like, it's really good popcorn filmmaking. It's a blockbuster as it's supposed to be. It's not one of those check your brain at the door things, but it's got dinosaurs fighting dinosaurs. What else do you want?
Nothing, to be honest.
It turns out that's not correct, because I thought that for the second one, that it was going to be good because it was dinosaurs versus dinosaurs. And then J.A. Bayona, the director, came in, replaced Colin Trevorrow, and lost his mind. Took the script, apparently, and threw it out, and just made whatever he wanted to. And it's unbelievable how stupid the film is. So it has an emo dino death sequence, which is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Where
Pretty sad.
no, it isn't.
It was not sad.
It's the most manipulative, absolute garbage sequence I've ever seen. It does, which is like, oh, that's an Easter egg, but then you're like, but what's going on in this entire sequence? Also, why didn't they just go and get it instead of watching it die? But that's not even the biggest problem with it. The biggest problem with it is there's this one sequence that I just can't get over. I cannot get over it. It's where they take a raptor and use its blood to give a blood transfusion to an entirely different dinosaur.
That's the thing you can't get over.
That's honestly, I think about it all the time.
But they matches.
Every week.
Matches.
Clone
how?
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
No, but no.
It's
science.
sci-fi.
It is. It's not sci-fi though, is it? It's real life. Dinosaur, this whole, like in the first one, they're like, oh, there's amber with these mosquitoes in. And I was like, oh, do you know what? That could totally happen. There's going to be dinosaurs in the future. And then, okay, maybe I'm stupid. And then by this fifth movie, they're just like, okay, we're going to clone dinosaurs and also children in the exact same way, and that's going to be fine, and we'll just accept that. But it's the blood transfusion that I can't get around. There is no, I'm not a doctor, this might surprise you, but there's no medical grounding to the fact that you just get one creature and put its blood into another one, and it's absolutely fine. Also, how did they know this? Right, so I'm going to set a bit more up.
Go on.
They say, does anybody know any first aid?
Yes.
Set this up, and a girl goes, oh, I've got a girl. What's she called? Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
A girl.
The one girl.
She
She
says.
That was a bit you were going, how unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then, like a woman.
Yeah, it was a woman that said it. In fact, there's two women on the sequence.
Disagree.
She goes, oh, I've got some first aid training, and they go, that'll do. And she gets a little first aid kit appropriate for workplace incidents and dinosaurs, of course. And immediately is able to find the T-Rex's main vein. I don't even know what it is, and she finds it straight away. Goes through dino skin with a little needle, and it ruined the whole film for me. From that point on, I couldn't believe anything that they said.
But what about the bit at the end when the little clone girl sets all the clone dinosaurs free?
Yes.
And it was just done so they could do a post-apocalyptic dino thing.
The Flintstones, otherwise known as.
Yeah.
The end of the film, by then, it's lost its mind completely, and it is absolutely terrible. And apparently, you're supposed to root for these dinosaurs that are definitely going to go and eat babies.
Now, this sequel comes to one of the best films in Hollywood history, which is Alien vs. Predator.
Woo!
Which is an absolute banger of a movie. It's so good.
You two have made someone walk out.
Well, I have no regrets. They deserve to go if they can't respect Alien vs. Predator, because it is just simple B-movie fun. It takes all the good things of Aliens and all the good things of Predators and brings them together and makes them fight in a pyramid with shurikens. Like, it's a good movie, and there's a queen alien, there's eggs, there's all sorts of weird amalgamations, and it ends with the Pred alien, which, you know, cheap move, but whatever. The film itself, great, good fun.
The comics.
Yes, whatever. Good fun for a film, anyway. I enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic. Good action, good fun, funny moments, lots of PG-13 horror. You know, nothing too scary. So, you know, another one coming along to that. I was like, yeah, this will be great. This will just be more stupid monster fighting fun. Would have been if I could have seen it. Seems it's just literally a pitch black film with nothing going on, and the rest of it is just trash as well, honestly. It's one of those films where if I knew what was going on, I'd tell you why it's so bad, but you can't freaking see it, like, you can't. Ooh, the whole like looking through the window thing is the one redeeming quality of the film, where there's this spooky alien predator thing looking through the window. The girl's like, oh, there's a monster outside, and her dad's like, no, there ain't. And then it comes and eats him. It's like, yeah, you, that's good. But the rest of it, bad. The rest of it, but I actually don't even have like a good description of it because it's just bad.
Did you only see it the one time?
Yes, because
it was dark.
It was. The film is dark, like it's filmed.
No, it is, but I don't know. Maybe you should go back to it and see the bit where they're insulting the government, and they're like, the government wouldn't lie to us.
No, it's bad. They do actually bring the shuriken back, and it still doesn't make it even better because it's just worthless. It's a cheap gimmick from the first one. I'm not there for it. Alien vs. Predator, one of the peak movies of our generation, all the good things brought together in one fantastic film, B-movie fun, good. Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Oh, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Rather than unclear, what is the worst sequel in Hollywood history?
Donnie Wahlberg.